Bumblebee is the name of several fictional characters from the Transformers series. In most incarnations, Bumblebee is a small, yellow Autobot with the altmode of a compact car. The characters and related events are described, below, using in-universe tone. Transformers, Generation 1, Bumblebee is the little brother of the heroic or protagonistic Autobot faction and a mascot, constantly striving to prove himself in the eyes of the other robots, especially his leader, Optimus Prime. This often causes him to take risks that put him in danger. Although a bit of a smart aleck, he is a capable and reliable messenger and spy, his small size allowing him to go places that his larger commanders cannot. He is highly fuel efficient, has great visual acuity, is particularly adaptable to undersea environments and transforms into a satin yellow Volkswagen Beetle. He was later reconstructed into a stronger, more mature form as Goldbug. Reception. At BotCon 2010, Hasbro named Bumblebee as one of the first 5 robot inductees in the Transformers Hall of Fame. He is also IGN's second favorite Autobot. Animated series, The Transformers, Bumblebee holds the distinction of being the second character to appear on screen in the original Transformers animated series, while on a mission to recover a small clutch of energy conductors with Wheeljack, illustrating the energy crisis holding sway over their home planet of Cybertron. Bumblebee is subsequently among the Transformers aboard the Ark as it set off searching for new worlds and new energy sources, which crashed on Earth, causing the Transformers within to be trapped in stasis for 4 million years. Awakening in 1984, Bumblebee helps Ironhide quell a raging river and uses his small size to help spark-plug White Wiki plant explosives in the midst of a Decepticon mining operation. He later befriends Sparkplug's son Spike, but on their first adventure together they are both kidnapped by the Decepticons, and Bumblebee is brainwashed into luring the other Autobots into a trap. When the body of the deceased Optimus Prime is recovered from space by a pair of Transformer-hating human scientists who intend to use it to lure the Autobots into a trap, Bumblebee is part of the rescue team led by Rodimus Prime to recover it. Entering the lab, some of the Transformers are exposed to rage-inducing alien spores that cause them to run wild, and although Bumblebee avoids infection, he is seriously damaged by the rampaging Superion. A member of the alien race called the Quintessence subsequently repair and restore Optimus Prime to life, so he can stop the hate plague, and repair Bumblebee. The little Autobot has been so severely damaged, however, that he requires an entire reconstruction. In his new, shiny body, he comments that he has gone beyond just being Bumblebee, and is now a Goldbug, prompting Optimus Prime to redo him Goldbug. Goldbug travels with Optimus Prime to the planet of Char in order to secure a heat-resistant alloy that can protect him from the plague, only to be infected on the mission and later cured when Prime uses the power of the Matrix to purge the plague. Goldbug also makes a brief appearance in the 4th and final season of the series, defending Autobot City and Cybertron against a massive Decepticon attack. Transformers, The Headmasters. In Transformers, The Headmasters, Goldbug and the Throttlebots were on Cybertron when Vector Sigma began to destabilize as a consequence of Optimus Prime releasing the Matrix's energy to cure the hate plague the previous year. The Decepticons soon invaded the planet in an attempt to take control of the computer, and Goldbug and the Throttlebots joined Grimlock and Slag in holding the line against them. Unfortunately, they were knocked unconscious by the hypnotic power of the new Decepticon Headmaster Mindwipe, but they had managed to delay the Decepticons long enough for the Autobot Headmasters to arrive and take up the fight. The Throttlebots disappeared after this encounter, suggesting they might have been destroyed, but they eventually resurfaced months later as the Decepticons were carrying out their final plan to destroy the Earth. Goldbug and the Throttlebots teamed up with Fastlane and Cloudwalker to investigate the emergence of a Death Tower in Santiago, Chile, only to find Predaking there waiting for them. Naturally, the small bots were no match for the powerful Combiner, but they fought bravely, clinging onto his limbs before being hurled aside. Luckily, the Autobot Target Masters arrived in time to bail them out and take Predaking down. This is also because of the budget cut that happened in the middle of the movie. Books, Ballantine Books, Bumblebee was featured in the 1985 Find Your Fate Jr. books Dinnerbots Strike Back by Casey Todd and Battle Drive by Barbara Siegel and Scott Siegel. Kid Stuff Records and Tapes. Bumblebee was featured in the 1985 audio and book adventure Satellite of Doom Publishing by Kid Stuff Records and Tapes. Modern Publishing. Bumblebee was featured in the 1993 Transformers, Generation 2 coloring book Decepticon Madness by Bud Simpson. Comics. Bumblebee has appeared in numerous comic books and related media printed by various publishers. 3 Hours Enterprises. Bumblebee appeared in the voice actor play performed at BotCon 2004, in which a device built by Rhinox to stop Unicron from pulling victims from other dimensions inadvertently transports an Autobot shuttle under Bumblebee's command into the middle of a battle between Rattrap, Silverbolt, and Waspinator and a team of Unicron's agents. Bumblebee's shuttle is able to scoop up Rattrap and company when their ship is destroyed. After saving more of Unicron's victims from the Decepticons, Bumblebee's team returns to their own time. Condor Verlag, in a story called By Their Blasters You Shall Know Them. From Transformers Comic Magazine issue number 12 by German comic publisher Condor Verlag. Optimus Prime instructs Backstreet, Bumblebee and Ruckus on how to identify Autobots from Decepticons in battle using the ARC's computer. Pretender Bumblebee is one of those he displays to the Autobots. Devil's Due Publishing, in Devil's Due's first G.I. Joe vs. the Transformers crossover, the evil terrorist organization Cobra are the first to uncover the ARC and the Transformers slumbering within it, capturing and reformatting a large number of them to use them as war machines. Bumblebee and Wheeljack are able to avoid this fate, contact the team created to respond to the threat of Cobra, G.I. Joe, and help to free their fellow Autobots. Unlike most Autobots, who had new alternate modes, Bumblebee and Wheeljack had their original Generation 1 alternate modes in the series. In the second crossover, Bumblebee is among the Autobots sent back in time due to an accident with the Spacey Bridge computer Teletran 3. As part of a small group transported to the 1970s, Bumblebee is reformatted as a small economy car before the teamed-up Joes and Cobras return all the Transformers to present-day Cybertron. Bumblebee takes center stage in the third crossover series, as he, Grimlock, Arcee, and Perceptor are sent to Earth to aid G.I. Joe in removing the influence of Cybertronian technology on the planet. Sporting his original alternate mode again, he is shown to have something of a crush on Arcee. When Cobra attacks the base, the Autobots help repel the Cobra battle android trooper armies. Journeying to Cybertron to stop Serpentor, the mismatched group is ambushed first by Cannibalizers, then by Serpentor, Pyronicon, Predaking and the Stunticons, with Bumblebee being badly injured as he runs right into Predaking's leg. He is then executed by Serpentor, who would later comment that Bumblebee's death is the only thing that ever really made him feel emotion. Despite the character being notoriously difficult to kill, it seems his death is permanent, as Serpentor comments that he felt something leave him, most likely his spark. A statue to his memory was seen in the final issue. His death would continue to have repercussions, as seen in the fourth series, in which Prime insists on journeying to Earth personally rather than expose any of his troops to the same fate. Dreamwave Productions. When Dreamwave Productions introduced their reimagined version of Generation 1 continuity for the 21st century, Bumblebee was present for the Autobots' new adventures once again. The War Within, set in Cybertron's past, chronicled Bumblebee's early adventures in the Battle of Al-Shaix and the defense of Iacon in the face of an attack by Shockwave. When Optimus Prime and Megatron vanish in an early Spacey Bridge experiment, causing the Autobots and Decepticons to splinter into smaller factions, Bumblebee remains with the Autobots under Prowl's command. As usual, Bumblebee is among the Transformers trapped in stasis aboard the crashed Ark who are reactivated on Earth in 1984. Although not depicted in fiction, the general events of the television series pilot seem to take place in the Dreamwave continuity, with Bumblebee meeting and befriending Spike Witwicky. Fun Publications. Classic Bumblebee was featured on the cover of Transformers Club magazine number 14. In a possible future chronicled in the exclusive comic book available at BotCon 2005, Bumblebee featured as the espionage director of the Autobots. Having been on the trail of the Decepticon agent Flame War for a long time, Bumblebee interrupts a communication between Flame War and the Triprodacus Council and reveals that his agent, Ricochet, has installed a degenerative virus into Death Cyrus's clone army. With Flame War now exposed, Bumblebee points out that she was nothing more than a liability to the Council, who blow her ship up. Based on the Transformers Classics toy line, the Timeline's 2007 story is set 15 years after the end of the Marvel Comics story. Megatron has survived the crash of the Ark on Earth, reformatted himself into a new form, and now leads Ramjet, Skywhip, Soundwave, Starscream, and the Constructicons. Optimus Prime has also returned to Earth commanding Bumblebee, Cliffhumper, Grimlock, Jetfire, Mirage, and Rodimus. In crossing over, when the Cybertronians Skyfall and Landquake arrive on Earth unexpectedly, Megatron attempts to destroy them, but Optimus Prime and his Autobots are able to drive Megatron away. Bumblebee appears in the story Generation 2, in which he is among the reinforcements from Autobot City to respond to the Decepticon attack at the Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland. Once there, the Autobots are able to defeat the Decepticons, but during the fight the Autobots are exposed to refined foresternite, which enhances and mutates Cybertronian systems. He gets enhanced to his Generation 2 form. IDW Publishing, fall of 2005 was the third relaunch for the Transformers comic series, this time under the management of IDW Publishing. IDW's core universe was introduced with the 6-issue miniseries, The Transformers, Infiltration, making it clear that the company's take on the Generation 1 universe was radically different. Bumblebee appears as a member of a small team of Autobots under the command of Prowl, operating in secret on Earth out of Arc-19. Still a Volkswagen Beetle, he possesses the added ability to generate a hollow matter avatar of a young female to masquerade as a driver and to otherwise interact with humans. Working with Ratchet and a trio of young humans to search an abandoned Decepticon base, Bumblebee is able to take down Skywhip during a Decepticon attack, outthinking the Decepticon and shooting him out of the sky despite his teleportation system. After Blitzwing and Skywhip bring the base down, Bumblebee helps save the humans, despite commenting previously that they would be acceptable losses. As Megatron then engages the traitorous Starscream in battle, Bumblebee does what he does best by spying on the fight. Almost shot by the Battler Chargers, he is saved by Prowl and Jazz. In the follow-up, The Transformers, Escalation, he is left to run the Arc-19 on his own. Bumblebee was among the Autobots who opposed the Decepticons serving the Elder Gods in the IDW Publishing Infestation 2, Transformers comic. TFCON Comics, Bumblebee, voiced by Dan Gilvezan, appeared in the TFCON 2009 voice actor play Before, Be Now. Bumblebee appears among the characters in Reunification, the 2010 TFCON voice actor play Prelude comic. Games, Bumblebee was one of 8 playable characters in the 1986 Commodore 64 video game Transformers, The Battle to Save the Earth. The classic toy line appeared in a simple Flash-based video game on the Hasbro website called Transformers Battle Circuit. In this one-on-one fighting game, players press the right and left arrow keys to try to overpower their opponent. Playable characters include Rodimus, Bumblebee, Grimlock, Jetfire, Starscream, Astro Train, Triptychon, and Manaza. Optimus Prime and Megatron each appear as the boss the player must defeat to win the game. Bumblebee is one of the light blue robots in the 2010 card game Monopoly Deal Transformers. Other media, a parody of the Generation 1 Transformers was aired in the December 23, 2008 episode of Frank TV, called Frank the Halls. In the story, Optimus Prime and his Autobots battle Megatron and his Decepticons when Optimus runs out of gas. Optimus becomes enraged at the price of gas, steals the fuel from the annoying hybrid Autobot Prius Maximus, then joins the Decepticons in destroying the city. Bumblebee appears in the Robot Chicken episode Junk in the Trunk. In the segment he is in, he is whipped by a towel used by Grimlock in the locker room and later appears at Optimus' bedside before he dies of prostate cancer. Maggie Simpson appeared as Bumblebee in one opening sequence to The Simpsons alongside the rest of the Simpson family rendered as Autobots. Transformers, Bumblebee appears as one of the main Autobot characters in the live-action Transformers film series. He retains some elements from his Generation 1 design, such as the iconic horn-like pieces in his head, which are articulated in the films. The cautious but brave Bumblebee was given a different alternate mode from his original G1 incarnation. Instead of a Volkswagen Beetle, he transforms into a rally yellow Chevrolet Camaro. Director Michael Bay states in the special features of DVD 2 of the first film, that the change of Bumblebee's alternate mode was due to the fact that a Volkswagen Beetle reminded him of Herbie. Due to a battle injury, he is rendered effectively mute, and communicates through use of selected playback of radio and television signals. Though his original voice is restored at the end of the first Transformers film, he communicates solely through his radio in Revenge of the Fallen and alternates between his voice and his radio in Dark of the Moon. The biography for the Decepticon hardtop figure states that he and Bumblebee are old rivals and it was not Megatron who damaged Bumblebee's vocal processor, but a shot from Hardtop's gun. This, however, is in almost direct opposition of the film's prequel. Bay stated in an early interview that Bumblebee stands about 17.5 feet tall, but the official guide to the Transformers video game says he is 16 feet tall. The vehicles used for Bumblebee, Ironhide, Jazz and Ratchet were put on display by General Motors at the 2007 Detroit Riverwalk Festival a little over a week before the U.S. release of the film. In Hot Rod magazine's November 2006 issue, Bumblebee was a feature article. Originally a worn-out 1969 Camaro, producers settled on a 1977 model. It is painted yellow with black stripes, primer and rust patches, riveted hood scoop, Krieger SS wheels up front, Eric Vaughan real wheels in the back, marine-grade vinyl seats, and even an 8-track player. The Camaro concept model was built using a 2005 Holden Monera by Celine, with the body built from the same GM&D molds that were used in the original 2006 Camaro concept. Early photos show that Bumblebee can transform his right arm into a plasma cannon and has missile launchers in his shoulders. In addition to his firearms, in the game Bumblebee can extend an axe-like stinger from his wrist, in a similar fashion to how Optimus releases his sword. Bumblebee uses this in close-quarters combat. This weapon was most notable in the video game. The 1977 Camaro movie vehicle was sold on eBay with a winning bid of US $40,100.01. As a tribute to the original form of Bumblebee, a yellow Volkswagen Beetle appears next to him at the car dealership. Bumblebee damages the Beetle in order to ensure that Sam purchases him. He also has a bee-shaped air freshener attached to his rear-view mirror with the words "Biatch." The air freshener was the subject of a lawsuit for $850,000 due to its alleged resemblance to another design. Since his conversion from 1977 Camaro to 2006 Camaro concept, Bumblebee's alternate mode continues to evolve throughout the film series. In Revenge of the Fallen, he sports a different set of alloy wheels and a custom front bumper. For Transformers, Dark of the Moon, his color changes from yellow to amber with thicker black stripes that run across his hood, roof and trunk. In addition, he will have dark-colored rims and side mirrors, as well as a rear spoiler. Also, in Transformers Dark of the Moon, he has a sort of vehicle battle mode in which he can use his weapons in car mode without fully transforming and still being able to seat a driver and passengers. Reception: IGN described Bumblebee's lubrication of Simmons as one of the worst moments of the Transformers movie. IDW Publishing, in Transformers, Defiance No. 1, back on ancient Cybertron, Bumblebee, and Cliffhammer are tasked to watch over the Allspark at the temple at Simfer. In issue No. 3, Megatron learns that Optimus has broken into his room and sends Bumblebee, Camshaft, Cliffhammer, Jazz, Prowl, and Smokescreen to arrest Optimus Prime for treason. Optimus demands to speak directly to Megatron, but while en route to Megatron's location, they are ambushed by Barricade, Brawl, Crankcase, Frenzy, Starscream, Skywhip, and Thundercracker, under orders to kill them all. Smokescreen is able to cover Optimus and his group's retreat in the confusion of an explosion. In issue No. 4, Arcee, Bumblebee, Cliffhammer, Jazz, and Smokescreen ambush Ironhide, who they believed works for Megatron, but Ironhide instead joins Optimus Prime's Autobots. Arcee and Bumblebee later spy on the building of the Decepticon starship Nemesis. The Transformers movie prequel reveals that in the Battle of Tiger Pax, Megatron's forces attack, searching for the Allspark. Bumblebee's squad attempts to hold off the Decepticons, but are eventually overwhelmed. They are captured and tortured by Swindle, with Megatron intervening personally to torture Bumblebee for information. However, they refuse to speak long enough for Prime's secret plan to take effect, launching the Allspark into outer space. Megatron attempts to pursue it, but Bumblebee stops him. An enraged Megatron rips Bumblebee's arms off and crashes his voice capacitor, promising to seize the Allspark for himself eventually. Bumblebee recovers and is repaired, although his voice is damaged beyond repair. Bumblebee then volunteers to head into space to stop Megatron from acquiring the Allspark. Eventually arriving on Mars in his protoform mode, Bumblebee then proceeds to Earth in 2003, his arrival tracked by the Hubble Space Telescope. Upon landing in New York City, Bumblebee assumes the form of a beat-up Chevrolet Camaro, all the while avoiding the agents of the government organization known as Sector 7, who refer to him as NBE-2. Bumblebee then downloads information on Captain Archibald Whitewicke. Arriving at the asylum where he had once been incarcerated, he finds it now a dilapidated ruin. Damaged by a pursuing barricade, he then finds Allspark-like emissions somewhere in New Mexico, unaware it is a trap set by Sector 7. However, their plan to capture him is thwarted when Starscream, Barricade and Blackout arrive. As the Decepticons shoot Sector 7's trap to pieces, Bumblebee escapes, unaware the Decepticons had let him go so that they could follow him and see what he knew about the Allspark. He is last seen in the series heading for Tranquility, Nevada, home of Captain Whitewicke's descendant Sam. In the comic adaptation of the film, Bumblebee downloads information on the internet about the concept camera car and took on its form instead of driving past in a tunnel, as seen in the film. He also appears in the official movie sequel comic called The Reign of Starscream. In Transformers: Alliance, the Autobots aid the human soldiers after the battle in Mission City, destroying the Allspark-powered machines that were created. After Ratchet finishes repairing Bumblebee's legs, a trailer is obtained for Optimus Prime to carry the remains of Jazz. The Autobots then leave Mission City before the Sector 7 personnel arrive to claim the remains of the Decepticons. About a month later, Epps and Lennox contact Optimus Prime, Ratchet and Ironhide about aiding them in escorting the remains of the Decepticons to the Naval Yard. Unknowingly they are spied on by Barricade, who transmits the information to Starscream. Bumblebee appears in Transformers: Tales of the Fallen No. 1, where Barricade kidnaps Sam in order to flush out Bumblebee and learn where the Allspark fragment is. Bumblebee saves Sam and fights Barricade, who escapes in the process. Bumblebee appears in Transformers: Nefarious No. 1, set months after the events of the 2009 film. Bumblebee, Breakaway, Jolt, Knockout and Dune Runner are sent to investigate spark fragments detected at Kingdom Petrochemicals. Arriving first, Breakaway is warned by Soundwave to leave, but unwilling to give in, the Autobot is swiftly defeated. Bumblebee and his team fire on Soundwave, who escapes. The drone calling itself Brains runs into Bumblebee and Sam Whitewicke in Philadelphia. Titan Magazine's note: events occurring in the alternate universe where Megatron won the Battle of Mission City are in italics. In Twilight's Last Gleaming Part 3, Bumblebee attempts to take on Megatron in the Sector 7 base. Meanwhile, Mikaela attempts to free Optimus Prime, but she is attacked by Frenzy. Bumblebee appears in issue number 17 of the Titan Transformers magazine, in a story called Return to Cybertron Part 1. In this story, he is among the Autobots that go to Cybertron. Bumblebee returns in issue number 22 of the Titan Transformers magazine series in a story called The Decepticon Who Haunted Himself. Books: Bumblebee also appears in the prequel novel Transformers: Ghosts of Yesterday. Here, it is revealed he could still communicate with the other Autobots via digital link. Bumblebee is part of Prime's Autobot team searching for the Allspark, and is described as one of the Autobots' best scouts. He is sent after the human vessel Ghost 1 to make contact, but is ambushed and forced underground by Starscream. Encountering giant rock-chewing worms, he is saved by Optimus Prime. Heading into the atmosphere once again, he and Ratchet took on Barricade, but are unable to stop Starscream from destroying the human vessel. Target RoboVision, according to his extended biography from the Target store-exclusive RoboVision website, Hardtop came to Earth and discovered the White Wiki home before any of the other Decepticons, but was unable to attack the White Wicks because Bumblebee found him first and buried him under 100 tons of rubble in the Rocky Mountains. Live-action films. Bumblebee appears in the 2007 live-action Transformers movie, returning to his role as the friend of the Autobots' human ally, in this case, Sam Witwicky. Sam possesses the glasses of his great-great-grandfather Captain Archibald Witwicky, a famous explorer. Unknown to Sam, the glasses are engraved with the coordinates showing the location of the life-giving Allspark. Bumblebee is assigned to guard Sam from the Decepticons, and poses as a dilapidated 1977 Chevrolet Camaro as Sam and his father are buying a car for Sam. They eventually purchase Bumblebee, due in no small part to Bumblebee damaging every other car at the dealership to ensure his purchase. Later, Bumblebee drives away from Sam's home to summon the Autobots. Sam thinks Bumblebee is being stolen, and chases the car on his bike. Sam then witnesses Bumblebee transforming into robot mode and reports it to the police, who believe he is on drugs. Bumblebee returns to Sam and his crush Michaela Baines and protects them from an attack by Barricade and Frenzy, earning Sam's trust. When Michaela criticizes the poor condition of Bumblebee's vehicle mode, he scans a passing camera concept and transforms into the same model. Bumblebee then drives Sam and Michaela to an alley where they meet the other Autobots. They return to Sam's house and retrieve the glasses, but a secret government organization, Sector 7, arrests Sam and Michaela. The Autobots attempt to rescue them but Bumblebee is captured and taken by Sector 7. There he is tested tortured by the Sector 7 scientists using electric shocks that appear to hurt him. Sam eventually negotiates his release. Bumblebee survives the massive battle at the film's climax, although he loses the use of his legs after helping Ironhide deflect missiles from Starscream. With Michaela's aid, he is able to rejoin the battle supported by a tow truck, and destroys Brawl. After the battle, Bumblebee is fully repaired and asks to stay with Sam and is granted permission from both Sam and Optimus Prime. He is later seen alongside Ironhide, Ratchet, and Optimus watching the sunset while Sam and Michaela recline on his hood at the end of the movie. Bumblebee is voiced by Mark Ryan in the films, but he mostly speaks with his radio, having had his voice processor damaged. He also speaks with quotes from television shows and movies, in a way similar to Wreck-Gar from the 1986 film and Season 3 of the G1 cartoon series. Screenwriter Roberto Orci explained Bumblebee regained his voice through the regenerative laser Ratchet fires at his neck as they meet, and it eventually works its magic by the end of the film. He agreed this was not made clear. Frenzy is regenerated upon coming into contact with the Allspark, and so it is entirely plausible that Bumblebee's voice, along with his legs, is also healed by the Allspark, though no mention of this is made in the film. It was said that making Bumblebee mute was to show that his bond with Sam went beyond words. Bumblebee also appears in the film's sequel, Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen. When a fragment of the Allspark inadvertently turns the kitchen appliances in Sam's home into feral robots, Bumblebee intervenes to save him and his family. In doing so, he nearly destroys their house. He still uses his radio to speak, despite his vocal processors being repaired in the first film. However, he does respond halfway when Sam tells him to get in the garage by saying, "Whatever." Bumblebee shows excitement at the thought of going with Sam to college, only to be disappointed later when Sam tells him that he cannot come. Because of the incident at the White Wicks, he is also forced to leave their garage. Soon after Sam begins his semester at college, Bumblebee follows him and tries to alert him to the Decepticon pretender that is following Sam. As both Sam and Alice are riding inside Bumblebee, the Autobot attempts to warn Sam through his radio. Having failed at this, Bumblebee intentionally brakes hard multiple times and throws Alice around the interior in an attempt to damage the Pretender. Bumblebee then proceeds to spray lubricant over Alice, thereby embarrassing Sam and forcing Alice to flee. Soon after Megatron and Scalpel begin to torture Sam, Bumblebee arrives alongside Optimus Prime to fight Megatron, Starscream and Grinder. After Optimus dies, Bumblebee arrives with Sideswipe, Ironhide and Ratchet to cover Sam's escape. As they mourn for Optimus, Sam tells Bumblebee that he has failed the Autobots, but Bumblebee tells Sam through his radio, "You are the person I care for most in my life, and if there is anything you need I won't be far away." After taking Sam, Mikaela, Leo and Simmons to the Smithsonian Museum to reawaken Jetfire, Bumblebee then travels with the humans through a space bridge to Egypt along with Jetfire, the twins Skids and Mudflap, and Wheelie to find the Matrix of Leadership. While the twins have a sibling argument inside the ruins of Petra, Bumblebee breaks them up and tosses them out before seeing their fight. But once seeing the tomb's entrance after the twins' brawl reveals it, Bumblebee helps the humans enter it by blasting the rest of the wall off. During the final confrontational battle, Sam and Mikaela inadvertently spring a trap set by Rampage. Bumblebee stays hidden from Rampage's sight, allowing Sam to put Rampage in a spot where Bumblebee can initiate a surprise attack. During the subsequent fight, Ravage attacks him from behind and jumps on his back. After a brief struggle, Bumblebee gets a hold of Ravage and literally tears him apart with his hands, allowing him to finish off and kill Rampage. With Sam's parents free, Sam tells Bumblebee to take care of them, thus removing him from most of the final fight. After Sam is killed by Megatron, Bumblebee arrives with Sam's parents and sees Sam's body on the ground. He is heartbroken, overcome with sadness and stricken with sorrow, believing that he has failed in his duty to protect Sam, but is overjoyed to see him return. Bumblebee is among the remaining Autobots at the end of the film. In Transformers: Dark of the Moon, Bumblebee no longer lives with Sam and goes on other missions with the Autobots, such as dismantling an illegal nuclear facility in the Middle East. This is the first time the Stealth Force upgrade is shown in the movie. When Sam arrives with Carly, Wheelie and Brains, Bumblebee saves them from the soldiers taking them captive. Bumblebee is reassigned to protect Sam and moves back in with him. Bumblebee later teams up with Sideswipe and Dino Mirage to take out Hatchet, while Dino Mirage clings on to Hatchet with his grapple as Bumblebee and Sideswipe shoot their Stealth Force weapons. While trying to protect Sentinel Prime, who later attacks him and the other Autobots. After Sentinel forces the Autobots' exile from Earth, Bumblebee sadly says goodbye to Sam and reunites with him in Chicago, where he helps him rescue Carly and kill Laserbeak. After Sam kills Starscream, Bumblebee saves him and Lennox from a great fall. Bumblebee is captured by Soundwave and is nearly executed in front of Sam after Barricade executes K before Wheelie and Brains save him at the cost of their own lives, allowing him to break free and attacks Soundwave. Bumblebee battles Soundwave while the other Autobots fight the other Decepticons and proves more than a match for the Decepticon Spy Master, even managing to kill another Decepticon during the fight. Finally, Bumblebee knocks Soundwave off balance with a shot to the leg, knocks his gun from his hand and uppercuts his cannon into his chest, firing at the same time, destroying Soundwave's head and killing him. Bumblebee fights Sentinel alongside the other Autobots and humans but is no match for him, but avoids injury. After Sam kills Dylan Gold, Bumblebee destroys the control pillar by crashing through it, shutting off the space bridge and destroying Cybertron and the remaining Decepticons. Bumblebee survives the battle and gives Sam a bunch of gaskets to use as rings while playing wedding music after Sam and Carly admit they love each other. Though Sam says to Bumblebee that he's thinking too fast. He replies by saying, "I'm just trying to help out." Ratchet compliments Bumblebee for his bravery. Bumblebee returns in Transformers: Age of Extinction. He has a new vehicle mode, which is a modified 1967 Chevrolet Camaro before he scans a white 2014 Camaro and turns into a modified 2014 Chevrolet Camaro. Because of this, his robot mode has been changed as well and resembles one design of Bumblebee from the Generation 1 IDW comics. Cyber Missions: In Cyber Missions 1, Bumblebee and Ironhide are protecting NEST command when two Decepticons, Soundwave and Bludgeon, invade the area. Ironhide goes outside to deal with Bludgeon, while Soundwave ambushes Bumblebee from inside. Bumblebee is easily thrown down by Soundwave. Bumblebee tries to fire a shot from his shoulder gun, but Soundwave redirects the acoustic energy back at him. Bumblebee deduces that he cannot deflect several rounds at once, and begins rapidly firing at Soundwave. The Decepticon is not able to take in so much, and finally falls. Later, Bumblebee traps Soundwave in a magnetically sealed bubble in Cyber Missions 2. Video games. Bumblebee is a playable character, and is the most used character in the Autobot campaign, where the character uses Bumblebee in 9 missions in the Autobot campaign, out of the total 18. He is playable in both the old and new camera cars. Bumblebee also appears as a boss in the Decepticon campaign, with a radial blast attack. Bumblebee is among the playable characters in the 2009 Revenge of the Fallen video game by Activision. A film version of Bumblebee is playable in Hasbro's NetJet Transformers fighting game Transformers Battle Universe. Although other playable Transformers in the game have several incarnations featured, no other versions of Bumblebee are playable. Bumblebee is among the characters who appear in the Transformers Cyberverse Battle Builder game. TFCON Comics. Bumblebee appears among the characters in Reunification, the 2010 TFCON voice actor play Prelude comic. Other media. Bumblebee is one of the Autobots featured in Transformers, the ride at Universal Studios theme parks. In the ride, Bumblebee disembodies Ravage while Evac escapes from the Decepticon attack on NEST headquarters. Towards the end of the ride, Bumblebee saves Evac from falling off a building after Evac kills Megatron with the All-Spark Shard. Bumblebee appears in the episode of Robot Chicken called Tell My Mum, voiced by Seth Green. Sam Witwicky finds Bumblebee in Bobby Bolivia's used car lot and they go on an adventure, while Scooter is the only thing cheap in the lot. Bumblebee is portrayed as a fifth-generation cameo. Transformers Animated. Bumblebee appears in the Transformers Animated series in 2008 as a yellow Superman police car. The character of Bumblebee in Animated is described as a hot-headed racing young Autobot who likes video games, making him more akin to Armada Hotshot than the original Bumblebee. He does however retain the traditional warm-heartedness and human-friendly attitude of the original due to his friendship with Sari Sumdick and Bulkhead. Although considered childish and self-centered by many of his fellow Autobots, Bumblebee shows a loyal and caring side for his friends, and can be considered protective of Sari Sumdick, to the extent of blocking shots, blasts, and missiles from harming her. This was first shown in Transform and Roll Out. Part 3 inches when he deflected a shot from Starscream that was aimed at Sari. The blast rendered him unconscious until Sari healed him with her key. He is the kid-friendly character of the show. Bumblebee has a retractable faceplate he uses when he goes into combat and a retractable weapon in both hands. He can use the wheels on his feet in robot mode as motorized roller blades. In the Japanese translation of Transformers Animated, the story has been changed to make it a prequel to the 2007 Transformers live-action film. This makes this version of Bumblebee an earlier version of the film character. Animated series. In the episode Auto Boot Camp, Bumblebee has flashbacks to his days as an Autobot trainee. During training, he met Bulkhead, Longum, Ironhide, and Wasp. The group was under the command of Drill Sergeant Sentinel Miner, who gave Bumblebee his name. Bumblebee would often say or do the wrong thing, resulting in the entire platoon receiving transformation push-ups as a result, which made him unpopular with Wasp and Ironhide. One day, Bumblebee heard someone communicating with Megatron. Believing the traitor to be Wasp, Bumblebee discovered evidence in Wasp's locker. For discovering the traitor, Sentinel was prepared to give Bumblebee Elite Guard membership. However, Bumblebee gave up that chance by taking the rap for Bulkhead, who had previously knocked a building onto Sentinel, and was about to be removed from training, joining his new friend as a space bridge technician. Bulkhead and Bumblebee were assigned to a space bridge repair ship under the command of Optimus Prime, along with Ratchet. Both he and Bulkhead were the first to encounter Prowl before he joins their group. In the series finale, during a rescue mission to save Arcee, who was on the moon, Bumblebee manages to settle the score with Shockwave before he and Bulkhead put him under arrest. After the Autobots learn of Prowl's ultimate sacrifice, they take the sparkless body of Prowl and the captured Megatron, Lugnut, and Shockwave to Cybertron. On their arrival home, they are greeted and cheered on by the other Autobots for their victory over the evil and malevolent leader of the Decepticons. Fun publications. Bumblebee appeared in the 2008 BotCon voice actor play Bee in the City, voiced by Bumper Robinson. In this story, Professor Sumdick attempted to create a teleportation system to get the Autobots to Cybertron, but an interaction with Sari's key ended up transporting Optimus Prime, Bumblebee and Sari to Transtech Cybertron, where they met Flare-Up and his friends were detained by Shockwave while he was deemed not a threat. Bumblebee teamed up with Transformer named Joe to help him and Flare-Up get their friends. But after Joe exposed himself as a Megatron and uses Sari's key to create an army to begin a reign of terror, Bumblebee pointed out the world's bureaucratic nature that resulted in a mutiny. Afterwards the Autobots and Sari returned to their own dimension. IDW Publishing, set shortly after the events of Total Meltdown, is the Transformers animated comic issue number 2 by IDW Publishing. In it, Bumblebee and Prowl apprehend the angry Archer as the villain attempts to steal money from a used car salesman. In doing so, they reveal the holographic trickery of the Detroit superhero known as the Wraith. With the secret of his power revealed, the Wraith loses much of the respect he used to command in Detroit. The Wraith attempts to stop Cyrus the Colossus Rhodes from escaping prison, but is unable to fool the villain now that the secret is public, forcing the Autobots to stop Rhodes and making the Wraith look foolish. The Wraith then attempts to discredit Bumblebee at a college football game by trapping the Autobot with a car boot and using his holograms to make a fake Bumblebee attack the stadium. Bumblebee eventually escapes and the other Autobots help capture the Wraith before having him placed in a mental institution. Games. Bumblebee is one of the 5 playable characters in the 2008 Transformers animated video game for the Nintendo DS. Transformers, Timelines. Transformers, Prime. Bumblebee is one of the main group of Autobots in the 2010 computer animated series Transformers, Prime. Bumblebee is younger than most of the Autobots, and lost his voice box thanks to Megatron during the Great War. Bumblebee remains more playful than the other Autobots despite his lack of voice, and has come to rely on his speed as his most valuable asset in battle. Bumblebee is extremely similar to his movie counterpart, sharing similar vehicle and robot forms, the same lack of voice, and his close relationship to a human boy. It is also revealed in the series finale episode Deadlock that Bumblebee's mouth was covered by a faceplate vaguely resembling that of Optimus Prime's that helped him to create the alternative beeping noises he uses as his main form of communication throughout the series. Later in the series he changes his color scheme by reversing the colors. Books. Bumblebee appears in the novels Transformers, Exodus and Transformers, Exiles. Bumblebee losing his voice was the focus of the short story Bumblebee at Tiger Pax by Alex Irvine. Video games. Bumblebee appears as a playable character in the 2010 video game Transformers, War for Cybertron. In the Autobot campaign, he is first seen racing across the war-torn streets of Iacon in search of Optimus. Upon rendezvousing with Optimus, he relays the message of Zeta Prime's death at the hands of Megatron. After which, he joins Optimus and Ratchet in their resistance against the Decepticons on the planet. In Transformers, Fall of Cybertron, the sequel to War for Cybertron, players start as Bumblebee in the first level. He appears throughout the game as well. Animated series. Bumblebee appears in the pilot episode of the series responding too late to a call for help from Cliffhumper, who is captured by the Decepticons and killed. Bumblebee soon is assigned to be Raph Esquivel's guardian. They grow close, partly thanks to the fact Raph can somehow understand Bumblebee's language of beeping, and when Megatron nearly kills the boy, Bumblebee is enraged, but is able to help save the boy's life via a transfusion of energon. In the Operation Bumblebee 2-parter, Bumblebee loses his transformation cog, robbing him of his ability to transform and his speed. Bumblebee eventually retrieves the cog from human terrorist group MECH and Starscream. Bumblebee's goal in the series is to be promoted to warrior class, as he first states in Masters and Students. However, Optimus does not believe him to be worthy of promotion at such a young age. Nevertheless, Bumblebee shows he is still a capable warrior, able to fight the likes of Breakdown and Shockwave. When questioned by Smokescreen in Project Predaken, Bumblebee admits he is holding back so that he can one day be promoted to warrior class on Cybertron. In Deadlock, during the final battle aboard the Nemesis, he tries to give Optimus Prime the Star Saber for him to fight Megatron, but Megatron blasts Bumblebee in the spark, killing him as he falls into the ship's Omega Lock. However, the synthetic energon that powered the Omega Lock managed to heal his wounds, revive him, and even restore his voice. As Megatron prepared to finish Optimus, Bumblebee used the Star Saber to stab him in his spark, killing him. Afterwards, once the Omega Lock restored Cybertron, Bumblebee gives Raph a goodbye before the Autobots leave for their home world. In his first episode speaking, Bumblebee is voiced by Wolf Riedel. In Predaken's Rising, Bumblebee is finally promoted to warrior class after having been the one to kill Megatron. However, things quickly turn for the worse when Unicron appears on Cybertron in Megatron's body, and two new Predakens are cloned by Shockwave. With Optimus on a mission to retrieve the Allspark, and Ultra Magnus having been severely wounded by the new Predakens, Bumblebee becomes leader of the Autobots at Ratchet's encouragement. Bumblebee leads the Autobots, along with newly defected Knockout and the three Predakens, to make a stand against Unicron's undead army at the Well of Allsparks, buying enough time for Optimus to return to defeat Unicron. Optimus reveals that he must sacrifice himself to restore the Allspark to Cybertron's core, and does not pass on leadership to any one person present, stating that leadership will now be earned through actions. Bumblebee promises to keep the peace on Cybertron to Optimus, implying Bumblebee to be the new leader of the Autobots and by extension Cybertron's new age. Transformers, Rescue Bots. Bumblebee appears in the episode Bumblebee to the Rescue, where he helps the Rescue Bots and their human partners investigate a fallen meteor. Optimus Prime briefly assigns Bumblebee to observe how the Rescue Bots and the Burns family work together. Cody and the rest of the Burns family are unable to understand Bumblebee and requires one of the Rescue Bots to translate. The Rescue Bottom Blades also happens to be a big fan of Bumblebee. When Heatwave, Boulder, and Chase are infected by a substance contained in the meteor, Bumblebee, Blades, and the Burns family work together to destroy the meteor and obtain a sample in a hope to find a cure. Bumblebee and Blades successfully destroy the meteor and retrieve the sample, but at the cost of being infected as well, but thankfully the Burns use an analysis of the meteor sample to find a cure in the Autobots database, curing Bumblebee and the Rescue Bots. At the end of the episode, Cody is revealed to have learned how to understand Bumblebee. Before leaving, Bumblebee asks the Burns if they can take a picture of him and Blades. Bumblebee returns with Optimus Prime in It's a Bot Time, and Bots to the Future, where they go back in time to save the Rescue Bots from Dr. Morocco. They return to an alternate present with Dr. Morocco ruling Griffin Rock. They fight more bots, while the Rescue Bots go into the city. They find out they left Iltha behind, which is how the Morbot army exists. They go back in time to take him back to the present, which is then changed back to the regular timeline. Transformers, Robots in Disguise, 2015, a concept of Bumblebee in a new animated design was released, indicating his appearance in a new series that will serve as a sequel to Transformers, Prime. A poster later released showed Bumblebee, with a visage of Optimus Prime in the background, in what appears to be a Cybertronian city, further confirming his involvement. It is heavily implied that Bumblebee will be the new leader of the Autobots in the new series. KREO Transformers, Bumblebee is an Autobot warrior, and is based on the Generation 1 version of the character. Fictional biography. Sup? I'm Bumblebee, and I'm just about the coolest KREON character you'll ever meet. When I'm not punking the other Autobots, I like to spend my time cruising the freeway at top speed, hunting for the ultimate source of energon, hobbies, pranking Prowl and speeding. Favorite hangout, Anywhere there are lots of humans and loud music. Big plan, to form a block rockin' band. And also learn how to brick surf. Animated series, Cron Bumblebee appeared in the animated short Last Bottom Standing. KREO Bumblebee appeared in the animated short Bot Stars. KREO Bumblebee appeared in the animated short My Ride Is Better Than Your Ride. KREO Bumblebee appeared in the animated short The Big Race. KREO Bumblebee appeared in the animated short A Gift for Megatron. Both KREO and Cron Bumblebees appeared in the animated short Megatron's Revenge. Cron Bumblebee appeared in the animated short Quest for Energon, Part 1. Games, KREO Bumblebee appears in the Flash video game KREO Transformers Conquest. In this game Cron Optimus Prime attempts to avoid bombs and collect parts to rebuild KREO Ratchet, Mirage, Prowl, Optimus Prime and Bumblebee. References. External links, G1 Bumblebee on the Transformers Wiki.